My name's Audrey and I am a 2018 Appalachian Trail thru-hiker hopeful. So that means I'm going to be leaving this spring from Springer Mountain in Georgia and attempting to hike all the way the almost 2,200 miles up to Mount Katahdin in Maine. I'm going to be leaving sometime this March. I'm not going to say exactly when for safety reasons, but it'll be sometime this March and I'll be within what they call the hiker bubble. So they say the best time to go is between mid-March and mid-April, and that's when most of the 2,000 thru-hiker hopefuls will be leaving in that month time span. Some have started earlier, some will start later, some will go north to south instead of south to north. But I will be one of the many, I'm sure, leaving from Springer Mountain at that time. So I just wanted to introduce myself. I've never done any vlogging before. I have done vlogging, and I'm going to be vlogging for the trek throughout my journey, but I thought it would be fun to try something different and have another creative pursuit while I'm out on the trail. So, I don't know, I'm kind of afraid of my brain going a little nuts while I'm out there, so I thought having an additional creative pursuit like vlogging while I'm out there would help keep the old brain in check. I guess my two biggest fears when I'm out on the trail are injury, of course, you know, like something happening in the backcountry, like breaking a leg or something like that, God forbid. And the other one is, you know, getting bored or getting lonely or just losing sight of why it is I want to be out there. So anyway, the vlogging is just to help me get through that. So just a little bit about myself. I'm 33 years old. I'm originally from Western New York in a tiny, tiny little town on the Pennsylvania border. My parents still live in the house that I grew up, which is in the outskirts of town, out in the woods. I grew up doing all sorts of outdoor pursuits. We went camping for pretty much all of our family vacations, so that meant hiking, biking, tennis, you know, campfires, spending tons of time outside. It was super normal where I grew up to do all that stuff, canoeing, kayaking, skiing in winter, all that good stuff. And I grew up really loving nature and really loving being outside and being active. And I've been living in Washington, D.C. for the past several years, working on my career. I originally came for grad school and I stayed for a job. I was a movie publicist for a while, and for the last couple of years I've been working for an environmental nonprofit, which has been a dream for me. But I'll be honest, I'm ready to get out from my desk for a while, and I've decided it's my time to move on from DC, and I promised myself years ago when I was ready to leave, this is how I would do it. I would, you know, pack up all my stuff, put it in storage, not look for another job ahead of time, just get out on the Appalachian Trail and finally make a dream come true. I first got interested in the Appalachian Trail, like many people, by reading Bill Bryson's book, A Walk in the Woods. And I read it at a really interesting time in my life because I was going through something pretty awful at that time. I had herniated a disc in my back, and it was extremely, extremely, extremely painful. Like, I've always been a super active person, and I had to give up pretty much all of my, you know, active pursuits. I couldn't travel anymore because I couldn't sit for more than 10 minutes at a time without being in extreme pain. I couldn't run. I went hiking sometimes, but even that was a little much for me at times. So at that time I was doing a lot of reading because I couldn't do a lot of other things. And I finally read Bill Bryson's book after seeing it on bookshelves for years and years and years and never picking it up. So I decided that was the time to read it, and I did, and I fell in love, like so hard in love with the idea of the Appalachian Trail. So I've been dreaming about it ever since, and fast forward about 5 years, my back is mostly great. I still don't run, but everything else I pretty much do. And I hike all the time, and I'm back in that mindset of just wanting to be outside and active, and for that reason, DC just isn't working for me anymore, you know? I mean, we do have some hiking trails around here. You can get outside, you can make it work, but for me, I want to be in a more wildernessy area. I want to be around people who also want those same things. and I just don't feel like this is a place for me. So I decided to move on, and before I officially move somewhere else, I'm attempting to hike the Appalachian Trail. And I hope after these 5 years of waiting, I hope it finally works out for me. And there's one other thing I should say, which is I actually got dumped once about the Appalachian Trail. Right before I got this job at a nonprofit, I was like really sick of my job. I was really ready to get out of the city, and I had nearly convinced my then boyfriend to hike the Appalachian Trail, and it was something I started kind of obsessing over. It was what would get me through the day at work, you know, when I'd have to work a 12, 15-hour day for no extra pay and just was stressed. And I was having trouble with my roommates at the same time. It was something that really like stuck with me, and it was like, I can work toward this, and this is what I can look forward to. And I had nearly convinced my much more sedentary, much less outdoorsy boyfriend to come with me. And it ended up being the straw that broke the camel's back for that relationship. He just realized I was too adventurous and active for him, and it wasn't going to work out in the long term. And so it didn't happen at that time, but I actually think that now is a better time, and I'll be going with a college friend of mine, Natalie, who I met during study abroad to Madagascar in college. We've only seen each other a few times since then. That was in 2005. But I think because we've already lived in tents in a forest together for months at a time, and we got along great, and we went hiking together all the time, and found that we had similar interests, and both like really enjoyed that kind of atmosphere, I think that it's gonna work out just fine. I mean, I think we're gonna have a great time. And I expect to meet a lot of other great people out there. For you guys out there unfamiliar with the AT, like I said, there's the hiker bubble, so there's a big community out there, and it seems like people who've done the AT before have met lifelong friends, and just really, I get the sense that there is such a great community. So I expect to be meeting tons of other people too, and making lots of friends. I don't think Natalie and I will have to be stuck just with each other the whole 6 months we're out there. So I think we're gonna be just fine. And I'm really, really, really excited about the experience. I'd love to hear from people who've done it before, if you have any advice for us, or I'd love to hear from people who might do it in the future. I mean, hopefully my vlogging can maybe help you get a sense of what it's really like out there. I mean, I'd like to share both, you know, the good days and the bad days, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of both. I'm sure there'll be days when I'm crying in my tent, and I'm sure there'll be days where I'm on top of the world. So yeah, I hope that I get to share both of those with you guys. And if you have anything that you want me to show you on the trail or want me to talk about, I'm happy to do so. I'm open to ideas. Like I said, I'm totally new at this, so I'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, thanks for following along on my journey. I'm so excited about it, and I hope that you will keep on following along. All right, see ya.